Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome back. We're so excited for today's episode. I know I am. Are you?
Yes.
So I have a question for you out there. Have you ever experienced a change, a dramatic change in your life where you got the new role, or maybe you got a huge transformation, maybe a haircut or something like that, but you didn't feel like you were any different? Any ever experienced that?
Yeah, I suppose so. I have to think about that because
Like, what about when you were promoted to supervisor? Did you feel like a different person afterward?
no, I see what you mean. It's like it's like we turn another year older. Like, do you feel any different?
Do you feel 40?
No.
No.
Of course I don't.
We're not 40, but
Yeah.
we're close. But yeah, right? And it's interesting. And so that's really what like the self-image is about. And that's
Okay.
what today's topic is. It's the self-image. And you would be surprised what this self-image is responsible for.
That's what I'm interested to learn more about today because when you hear the word self-image, you literally think, well, personally for me, anyhow.
Like self-esteem.
Yeah.
Right? I think we think of that.
Even more so, I think about what you see in the mirror every day. Like literally the words self-image, how you see yourself when you think about yourself, how you see yourself in the mirror. Because a lot of times people say things to the effect of, that shirt looks so good on you, or you're so pretty when you smile, and you don't think so. You're
Right.
like, I don't think so. This shirt looks good on
Right.
me at all. I don't think I have a pretty smile. You're just blowing smoke on my skirt.
That is
It happens
the
a lot.
self-image. Yeah, totally.
But that's what I think.
It's one aspect of it.
So there's more to it than just that.
So much.
Gotcha.
So much more.
Well, here we go.
Yeah, no, here we go. So, I guess I'd like to give you a little history on this topic. Where this came from, this revelation about self-image, is from a man named Maxwell Maltz. He was a plastic surgeon back in the 60s and 70s, and he realized, well, he was born in 1899, so I guess it was much earlier than that he became a plastic surgeon. But yeah, and he passed away in 1975, I believe.
Okay.
And he, during the 60s and 70s, came to some realizations. And I mean, I think a lot of this is obviously the more experience we get, the more wise we get in the field that we're in, and the more that we notice human things, right?
Yes.
And I think in any area, it's really funny, in any business, if you're in it long enough, you start to notice patterns of human behavior.
Okay.
Any business. I
I'm
mean,
with
I
you.
could think like a trash collector would notice patterns of human behavior, or someone
Yeah.
a mail delivery person,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
a salesperson. Like all of us, we started to notice patterns of human behavior because we're no longer stuck in that learning phase. We talked about the curve of learning, and the stages of learning, and we're no longer there. We can notice so much more. Our
True.
awareness expands. So for him, what happened was he was a plastic surgeon, and he sometimes did dramatic transformations on people where they looked almost entirely different. I don't know if you've ever seen this show, The Swan. It was this terrible show in the early 2000s.
I do remember this one. I didn't ever see a single episode. I just heard about it, and it's something about cutting on yourself. It gives me the heebie-jeebies. I'm squeamish like that. I really am.
Yeah.
I can stand inside the blood. I just have a hard time thinking about getting cut on.
It was a really crazy show. And I mean, to think that people would go through these dramatic transformations of just plastic surgery so that they felt like a better person. But here's the thing that they learned on The Swan too, that not everyone felt a dramatic change. And so, I mean, some people had a completely different facade after working with him. And one lady in particular, he took off the bandages and told her, okay, here's how you look. And he showed her, and she said, well, I don't see a difference. And he said, well, let me show you. And he showed her before and after pictures. And she said, well, I see that I look different, but I still feel ugly.
Ooh.
And this led him to the realization that there is something deeper within us. It's more than just what we see outwardly. It's a self-image. It's what we hold inside as who we are. And so, I mean, one of his quotes is that we don't get in life what we are capable of. We get in life what we believe we're capable of receiving.
Wow, that's powerful.
It's so true,
that's huge.
though.
My mother used to always say, God don't make ugly. You heard that before, right?
Yeah.
And she would say, if he didn't want you to have a nose like that, then he wouldn't have given it to you.
Yeah.
If he didn't want you to have a body like that, he wouldn't have given it to you. Now
That's
you
what
have
Catherine,
control.
my client, teaches in her course too.
Yeah.
You know, whatever it is that is on the outside, he didn't make you ugly.
Right. Right.
You just
and I do believe that we are all beautiful
see
people.
what you see.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No matter what happens.
I
Even
choose
people-
pink hair. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't think he made it ugly, but I like pink hair.
So for that reason, I've always kind of been confused about why people would want to change the way they look entirely so they could be a different person. Because I've always thought to myself, you're still you.
Yeah.
The person inside is still that person that you've always been. If you don't change that person, then whatever you do to the outer shell makes no difference.
Let's all look at someone that we know and love, Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah.
His self-image
Ooh.
was broken. He didn't know what he looked like. He couldn't make the outside match the inside no matter what he tried.
Man.
That poor man,
That poor man,
right?
truly, because
tormented
he
in his self-image.
Everything changed. I mean, from his physique to his bone structure, like it changed when they changed that.
Yeah.
To his hair, to his eyes were shaped.
Everything.
It all started with his nose. I feel like it was like people with tattoos, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
They get
It
one
is.
tattoo and they get
Well, and I
addicted,
think
and then
that is
eventually
what-
they just get chopped up.
I do think that there's a show called Chopped Up, right? I think that is what happens
crazy.
though with plastic surgery. I'm not familiar with it
Yeah.
myself. I don't
And
know.
he was
But
never happy,
think
I
it's
guess.
like exactly. It's like a downhill spiral because you're not like, and I will say this. I know there are some corrective plastic surgeries like where you get reconstructed nipples because you have
Right.
like
I
a
can
complete
understand that
mastectomy
for
or something.
sure.
And you're just trying to make your body feel the way that you feel on the inside. And it
Yeah.
used to be that way, but because of some reason, deformity or an accident or something, you're getting it back to what it was.
Right,
and
right,
that's
right.
a different story than I believe when you really just feel out of alignment with
With
what's
who you are.
inside you.
Yeah.
And it's your self-image that you want to reflect it on the outside. We all want to
Exactly.
reflect it on the outside, but not just as far as physical. This is so much deeper. This is as far as business, as far as love, relationships, as far as anything goes. Like
Wow.
what you're capable of having is what you believe you're capable of having, and that is it. Period. End of sentence.
That's the base.
There's no escaping it, because what happens is our brain adjusts to what we believe we're capable of. Our beliefs are our truth, and our brain will not allow us to be wrong.
Wow.
So if you believe that you are capable of being a millionaire, you could be a millionaire. You
Yeah.
have every potential. But if you do not believe in your heart of hearts that it is possible for you to be a millionaire, you absolutely will not. And if you even taste it, your brain will automatically correct you back, course correct back to what you believe is possible.
Real quick, let's rewind back just a second because I want to make a statement. Then I want to go back to this. This is
And I'm going
huge.
to tell a story so we can understand this
so
better.
first the statement, because I know we're talking about plastic surgery and my confusion, but I want to say that
Yeah.
I have nothing against anyone who
Oh,
has
of course
plastic
not.
surgery,
Of
and I
course
do
not.
believe
Like
in
I
it
said,
for.
I mean, I made my hair
yeah,
pink.
I believe in it
don't-
for correctives.
whatever
yes,
you wanna
and
do.
everyone- it's your life and your body.
And
but
however
what
you feel good, you know,
Yeah.
if you feel good afterward, fantastic. If you don't, then we need to talk
Well,
about
that's
the inside.
That's interesting what you just said right now about that. That's why I brought it back, because if what you're saying is true, then the plastic surgery for cosmetics a focus is not necessary. Then, I mean, if you need it to restructure yourself, so you're in an
Sure.
accident, yes, I can understand that.
Or
but,
so your outside matches your inside image.
well, that's another thing too. So, okay. but if we are good inside, we're gonna be good outside.
Sure.
Isn't that how that works?
Sure.
Right? Okay, that's why I want to make sure I'm on the same page as you, because I'm thinking to myself, if I was just a torso, but I loved myself,
Yeah.
then I'd be a beautiful torso.
Nick Vujicic.
Right?
Yeah.
He literally
He's
is a torso
awesome.
with a foot. And,
Yeah.
and he loves himself, and he feels
Now,
beautiful, he
but
feels
he
great.
didn't
Right.
for a long time.
Right. But I mean, like what if they could give him arms and legs?
I don't
kind of
think
feel
he'd
like,
want it right
yeah,
now.
I feel like
Like
this point in
this-
his life, he's like,
He is
what's the
who he
reason
is.
for it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That goes to show that it really has everything to do with how you feel inside.
Right.
You wouldn't want
Right.
to change anything outside if you feel great inside, right?
Exactly.
Okay. I'm more on the same page now.
Yep.
Now I'm getting okay. So
And there
go
are
into this.
people who, you know, have been in horrible accidents. One of our friends, Shell Miller,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she wants to change herself. she loves who she is right now.
Right.
She is happy with the healing that she's done, her body has done, and she looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Because she
100%.
believes she is.
Yeah.
You know, and I've seen it on Oprah. I mean, gosh, this was decades ago when I actually watched Oprah, when it was next to Rosie O'Donnell. And there were people who were mauled by a bear, and they didn't get some crazy reconstructive surgery because they just loved who they were anyway. They just took it and accepted it and said, God, let me survive this.
Right.
I'm going to take this, whatever I look like,
my message. Yeah.
and
my
let
new
it become
testimony.
that. So so some of us do want to change it back, and that's totally fine.
Yeah, I completely
And some of
understand
us don't, because they want
Yeah.
to become a spokesperson for it. So everyone has their own journey and path when it comes to self-image.
Right.
But what you're capable of, this is where we have self-image work to do.
Okay.
All of us, because if you believed you were capable of more right now, you would be doing more right now.
Right.
So if you have goals and visions and dreams, you could be doing those things right now if you believed you could, but you don't. There's something inside of you that says, I'm not ready yet to do that.
This is one of those major factors that are holding us back from realizing our dreams.
One of the only things that's holding us back from
Gotcha.
realizing our dreams.
So let's go back really quick to what you were saying about your
The
brain.
regulation.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Yeah, because it's like autopilot. Okay, so autopilot of a plane is off course like 90% of the time, right?
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, because it can't be 100% on course. It's going to get off course a little bit here, and then it course corrects back and forth.
Okay.
And so like a degree or two of variation, but it's not 100% on track. It's constantly course correcting. Sometimes it's more than that.
It makes sense. In the
It's
skies, weather, and all kind of
wind,
stuff.
There's
Yeah.
all kinds of things
Geese.
that come. Right. And oh my goodness, those birds that are travel migration, that would be crazy. But so there's things that get in the way and the plane corrects, right? And so what happens is when the plane corrects course, sometimes it passes where it's supposed to be and it goes off course the other direction. And that just keeps happening. But over time, by the end, it gets to where it's supposed to go. It's
Right.
not going to miss the runway because it's corrected back and forth and wavered a little bit. It's just like a boat, right? A boat doesn't always just go straight. Sometimes it goes choppy over a wave
Right.
or something and it has to bank. So it's the same thing. It's just like our GPS. If we get lost on our route, once we plug in the destination, our GPS knows where it's taking us. Where it's taking us, that is the self-image itself.
Okay.
So whatever your destination is that you are plotting this course for right now, that's your self-image. So however you see yourself, if you see yourself as someone who hangs out on the couch every night and watches Netflix, that is who you're going to be. If you see yourself as someone who's a mover and a shaker and going to high elite parties and being invited to places all over the world, that is who you are going to be, because you will constantly put yourself in places, and this is subconsciously.
Yeah.
You will do that to make yourself right, because again, your GPS is your self-image. It's taking you to where you believe you belong
Okay.
and where you want to be.
So are you saying that if I decided to myself that I'm going to be a millionaire, right? And I just decide I'm going to be a millionaire, I could do everything possible in my power to try to get there. But if I don't actually see myself in that space, I don't actually put myself into that position of being a millionaire mentally and emotionally and physically,
Believe that you
Believe
are
it.
capable of it,
Then
and then see yourself as
my
it, yeah.
brain will just cause me to veer off and go back on autopilot and go right back to where.
Totally. So
Wow.
here's an example, a personal example of mine. When I was in sales and I was a sales leader, I decided that this one year, we did goal sets every year, and this one year I decided that I was going to sell $1 million. No one that I had, at that point, that I had seen in our reports any year had done $1 million in that department yet. I knew it was coming and it was capable, but no one that I had seen had done it. I believed that I could do it. Then I told my boss, I was so excited. And she was like, okay, that's a pretty big goal. Why don't we tell everyone that it's 500,000, but our secret goal will be 1,000,000? And I don't know if you know this, but every time you're told something that you can't do something, you need to be told 10 or 7, I don't know where I have it, 17 or 10 times. I don't know, something like that. More than 5 times you need to be told that you can do something to erase the no, that you can't. So we accept the fact that we can't do something because it keeps us safe. It's part of our reptilian brain, the very tiny part of our brain that's left over that keeps us alive.
Right.
So for every time you're told no, you have to be told yes 1,000,000 times, right?
Got it.
So she said that, like, oh, well, why don't we just make this a secret goal?
Yeah, basically no.
Yeah.
No,
We're
you
not
can't
going
do
to
that.
tell
Yeah.
anybody that at our goal set meeting. No. Let's not tell anyone. But between us, we'll keep that as our goal.
Yeah.
So I stood up in front of people and said, my goal is 500,000.
And you spoke it aloud.
I spoke it aloud. I didn't believe it. I didn't love it. I felt stupid saying it because I knew my goal was 1,000,000. But
you declared it.
I did.
So your brain already started working toward it.
And you know what? So in August, now August is only 8 months into the year, right? And I promise you this, the end of the year is always huge in sales because people just are in a spending mood. It's Thanksgiving, it's Christmas
for any
time.
business, really.
Any business at all. If it's personal growth, it doesn't matter what business. This is not just buying things, commodities. It's not presents business. It's any business. People are in a spendy mood. They like spending money. They're getting bonuses for work. They're getting all kinds of stuff. So they're just happy spenders. And so in August, we had sold 450,000. And I remember distinctly sitting in my office with her and telling her I could basically just take the rest of the year off. And you know what? I did. This is so crazy. I didn't take the rest of the year off. I still worked, but somehow I checked out and I just, by the end of the year, after all the drops and everything, we had sold 480,000 after all the drops.
Yeah.
What?
Wow.
I had sold over 550, but I could have made 1,000,000. We could have.
Especially since
easily.
It was August. And if you just kept that momentum going, you definitely would have been at 1,000,000. No problem.
Because we were on fire
That's
that
insane.
year.
So
not only that, but sometimes you might get sick. You might, so, if you might just
your
check
brain
out.
Literally
Fixes it.
It's
like, that's not what you expect. That's not what you're supposed to do. You're being too successful. Stop it.
Wow.
Yes.
And so
Because it doesn't believe that's who you are.
my mind is blown right now. Okay.
Good.
Okay. So
What are you going to do with that?
I have all the questions.
I know, good. Ask them.
So definitely, I understand this because I know that the power of the process of the mind is that once you declare something aloud, especially, it has to be aloud. You can just say to yourself, I'm going to do this one day. It is.
If you start in your head, start in your head.
Start in your head for sure, but you have to say it aloud and
speak
speak it. Once you do, it goes out into the universe and your mind instantly starts working toward how to achieve that goal. Now, what you're telling me is that your mind can go to that goal once you speak it aloud. But if you don't nurture it, I guess, or you don't keep with it,
water
it, then it will just veer off somewhere else.
Totally.
No matter the speaking.
So here's the thing. We use our willpower wrong. We talked about this last episode. We use our willpower incorrectly very often, where we try and control our daily habits and the little things instead of using our willpower to hold the image of who we want to be. If we just use our willpower to stay focused on that, all the other stuff is going to happen.
Got it. So it's
going to happen.
It's basically putting in a new GPS for your autopilot.
I have a client who's an actress, right? And she was asking me about this vision letter that we do and like, oh, how do I do this? I said, put yourself 6 months from now. Imagine you are the Catherine who has accomplished all the things you want to in the next 6 months. What does she feel like? What is she going through? And I said, you, of all people, are probably going to be one of my absolute best clients at this because you're an actress. You can
put yourself in the role.
Put yourself in a role.
Yeah.
If you have any acting ability at all inside of you, if you ever played pretend as a kid, put yourself in a role of you in the future being that person that you want to be. Feel it. Feel the confidence that they have. Feel the success. Feel the relationships that they have. Who are you talking to? Imagine it. See it. Who are you spending your time with? What are you doing with your time? Are you waking up early, energized and excited, working out, sharing that with people, motivating others? Like, what are you doing? Who are you? And
what a question.
Really think into that role.
What a question. Okay, so, because I would love to try this. When it comes to limiting belief portion of it, right? I don't know how to start this. Okay, so I looked in the mirror and I didn't like what I saw. And I felt that way because I didn't feel like I was looking at me, who I actually was.
Yeah.
My body had changed. I lost muscle mass. I was weaker than I had been before. I was tired more than before, and I just didn't feel like me. So I started exercising, started doing the fasting, and started changing things a little bit at a time. And now I feel better. I look in the mirror, I see the person that I used to be, and I feel great about that individual.
Good.
So that's a kind of a little bit of self-image, right? Self-image work. Now, at the same time, the me that I am, that I used to be in the past, I don't quite see myself as that person anymore. So does that mean that I'm in a place in my life where I'm adjusting or restructuring my self-image?
Yeah.
So at any time, we can change our self-image. Anytime.
Right now.
So right now.
You
this
can do
moment.
it. Right now.
So right now with that power, in order to do so, how do I do that? Again, that's the question. You just kind of spoke off a lot of things about imagination, but how do I actually do that? Because if you ask a 42-year-old person right now to daydream, some of them might do it naturally, but some of them might have a hard time. Some of them may not be able to go to imagination.
That's really a lack of prompting. Just use your imagination, daydream. Like, about what?
Or
give
imagine.
Me a prompt.
Yeah, exactly.
But give someone a prompt.
So what's
what
the prompt?
I'm giving you is a prompt. Take yourself into the future. Take yourself 6 months. I don't want you to go crazy. You can go 6 months. You can go a year. A year is imaginable. Even though, I mean, right now, in the world today, 6 months is pretty far in the future.
6
you don't
months
know
feels
what's
like
going to
forever.
happen. Do we even know if we're going to be off quarantine in 6 months?
Shoot,
Don't know.
The new movies talk about it going on for the next 6 years and mutating.
Well,
oh God,
and Netflix,
please no.
What is Netflix is like airing, or I think it's Netflix. Some station is airing like 10 new movies a week.
Yeah.
Because they know you're not going to go to the movies anytime soon. So like we don't know what's really happening. So imagine 6 months from now, please. Like, let's give ourselves some real limitations and things that we can imagine into. Because if you go outside of the realm of imagination, then you're not going to be successful at this.
Right.
So we have to stay within our realm of imagination. And that means something that you can actually believe is possible.
Okay, so this isn't like goal setting, having big, hairy, audacious
plausible
goals.
And possible. It could be, but here's the thing. Big, hairy, audacious goals are only big, hairy, and audacious because we haven't done them yet. Someone else probably has.
Okay.
Right? At this point in time, the only person out there really treading in completely brand new waters is Jeff Bezos. No one has made as much money as he does every second of every day and controlled as much as he has in the world. Right. Nobody, ever. Because there are billions more people than there ever were.
He's in his own pond.
He is completely uncharted territory. So unless you're Jeff Bezos, I don't know who is in completely uncharted territory right now. So everything is imaginable because we could see it. Even if it's in a movie, we can see it.
Yeah.
There's like Star Trek. All that's imaginable because he imagined it. Gene Roddenberry imagined it. And he imagined it because of whatever books he read as a kid. Probably Jules Verne and things like that, right? So you can imagine things that have already been brought into your awareness. Unless you're a very special person. So we'll leave out the, Imagineers, all the people who imagine things that never existed before. But when you can take yourself to a place in your imagination 6 months from now, let's say you have had the absolute best 6 months of your life. Your marriage is thriving, or you're in a relationship now, or you've found the person that is the right one for you and you're just in that stage of love and excitement. Or let's say you started your business. Finally, you started the business that you've always wanted to start, and you now have clients that you get such great feedback. They're lives are being changed. Everything's different. Your money, your wealth is outrageous. You're able to give in ways that you never even took in. Your checks that you are able to write to charities, to church, wherever you want to give, are bigger than any checks you've ever gotten in your life. How does that feel? Take yourself there. What does the best 6 months look like to you? How do you define success? It's not how I do it. It's how you define it. Maybe it's just that you're making enough money that you're able to not have to worry about the repo man coming and taking your car.
Been there.
Maybe it's just that you make enough money that at the end of the month you have some left over and you're not wondering where your bills are going to get paid. Maybe that's the best 6 months of your life. And that's outside of your reality, but still imaginable. You know people exist that way. You know that there's a side of the world that doesn't worry about their bills. You know that.
In my 20s,
we know that.
I was always worried about bills until I just stopped worrying about it.
Different. Okay.
I got paid.
That's a whole nother thing. But you guys know what I'm saying, right? You get it. Like, imagine that. Go there in your mind. Take that journey with me and just see, who are you hanging out with? What new people are in your life? Because I guarantee you, you're going to have new people in your life. You're going to have new places. You're going to have new activities. You're going to have new habits. You're going to have a whole bunch of new stuff. What are those things? Take a look around your imagination in the room. Where do you live? Maybe you live somewhere new. Maybe you have a new car. Maybe you have new clothes. What do you feel like in those clothes? What does your hair feel like? All those things. Really, like, get yourself in this role of you as a success, whatever success is for you.
So, for example,
maybe you're speaking on stages. Maybe you're more comfortable talking to new people. Maybe you're finally stepping into comfort in sales.
So these are not necessarily goals. These are your beliefs. This is you.
Your skills. You're seeing yourself with new skill sets.
Yeah,
you're seeing yourself
in 6 months I'm gonna be able to have this. No, I'm gonna. This is the person I'm going to be.
Yeah.
This is who I am.
I'm telling you,
now.
it's acting.
I'm not
You've
just
deep into that
a
role.
driver of a new Corvette.
Right.
I am the person who drives the Corvette, who owns the Corvette.
Yeah, who bought it with cash.
Right.
Or a check.
See, that's a completely different way of thinking about it. It really, really is. Because I think that a lot of times we think to ourselves,
I want the thing.
Yes. I want the money. I want the clothes. I want the car.
The thing. That's the thing we're missing. We don't see. I remember this. Now, this is so weird that you said that. I remember living in DC, driving home from work one day, and there was a lot of traffic all the time. So I'm driving, and this woman is next to me in a silver convertible, and I look at it, and she looks not much older than I was at the time, which was in my early 20s. And I look at her and say, what have you done in your life that made it you capable of having this car? Because I'm working really hard right now at something. What is it you're doing?
I think that often.
But I think a lot of us don't. I think a lot of us think, I want that thing.
Yeah.
And that's normal. That's totally normal. But I do remember thinking that and feeling that and wondering just, what is she doing? Whose lives is she affecting? How has she done so much in her short time on this earth that she's able to afford this?
Yeah.
And I'm not.
You know, it's funny because
what am I not doing?
I remember driving down the street and seeing this amazing vehicle, and this guy who was in the car, and he looked like he had to be about 21 years old. No joke. And I'm looking at the kid, and I'm driving going, how did he do that? And the person next to me goes, probably a trust fund baby. Probably got the money. Probably dad probably bought it for him. And I said to myself, I went, no. I don't know, man. You have no idea this person's life. You have no clue.
Who do I need to become to do
that? Right? That was my choice. The way I thought was, how do I become the person worthy of that?
Right.
And they thought, well, that person just got it. Must be nice.
Yeah.
So that in
that's
itself
is
exactly, that's their state of mind, which means that they're in a place where they're going to stay there.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about this at one of the future episodes where we talk about the stages of awakening. They're definitely at the very bottom. And it's also kind of like the 7 levels of character too, where they're at the bottom. They're at the victimhood mentality where things happen to them. They're not participants in this world. The world happens to me every day, and I'm just subjected to.
That'll be a good talk. That'll be a good talk about that. But
they are stuck at that stage.
Okay, that makes sense. But so I guess in a sense, with that, so with this new level of awareness, to take this in, I need to sit down basically daily, is that how it goes? And just imagine.
Yeah.
Legitimately.
Yeah.
Sit down, quiet space, and just
ideally
imagine.
it is daily. Ideally it is daily, and it's something that takes constant repetition of emotion, because the more you do that, the more really it is being imprinted into your subconscious. Ideally it would be morning and night. Am I good at that yet? No. Would I love to be? Absolutely. I'm picturing myself holding that image in my mind of the person who does this morning and night. Because at this moment in time, I am not that person yet, but I'm going to be that person.
So that means you can...
Oh, maybe I'm not.
Okay, so that means that you can tell my second grade teacher that daydreaming would serve me well when I got older.
Yeah.
Because she looked
You're probably like one of the best. And that's why,
I was
Jonathan,
the space cadet as a kid.
but you know what? I think that's why so many people who are like you are so successful. Like, really, they joke about the kids who in school couldn't focus and were off somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
I think often, like when we hear about these rags to riches stories, so often these kids are like high school dropouts, or they were told by their teachers they never amount to much. And it's so funny because their teachers are so wrong.
Yeah.
So wrong. I mean, they told me I didn't live up to my potential and that I was too talkative. You know, if you understood that, you would see that I was like really good at engaging with people. Same thing goes with this. Like, they would see that you could imagine so much. You could be an engineer. I mean, you could be an architect.
Yeah.
You could be someone who like is a creative thinker. You could be an artist. You can imagine stuff. You could be an Imagineer, like at Disney.
I like that.
Right? At Disney, they pay people through the nose to have an imagination like that. And
that makes sense.
It's so funny though, just the structure.
It's funny you say
We'll
that.
talk about that another time too. That's one of my tangents is education.
I do want to share this because you're opening some things up to me that I've never really talked with anyone about. So first time here.
I'm excited. It's a first for all of us.
I might do this before, but there's times in my life that I will literally play a scenario in my head, almost like a movie. And I'll imagine it to a T, what the person is wearing, what they're saying, what they smell like, how I respond, when I respond. The entire scenario plays out in my head like a movie.
I believe it.
And the truth is, every time I've gone deep into that, it has happened.
Yeah.
Every single time. No joke. And I stop and I go, wait, deja vu. I used to think that it was something that was being created on its own. Apparently, I was creating it.
Yeah. So when
because I don't think of it one time. I think of this thing often, the scenario again. Well, think of it this That's how I get
way.
jobs. I play it out of my mind before I get there.
Right. Oh, yeah. You know, think of it this way. So a bride, she sees her wedding day. She sees how it's going to go. So it becomes reality.
Yeah.
Like when people imagine who someone is going to become, and it works both ways, guys. So I've been an employer, or a manager, I guess not an employer. I wasn't footing the bill, but I was leading people. If you see someone not doing something, they live up to that reality too. So it works externally as much as it does internally.
You can project someone's
self-image. Absolutely. You
can hold up a funhouse mirror kind of thing.
Just humor me here. You can feel if someone sees you as potential or garbage.
Yes.
And what do you act like when they see you as garbage?
Ooh, it's hard to not act like garbage.
And what do you act like when someone sees you as intense potential?
Oh, much more that.
Don't you want to live up to their standard no matter what they think? You want to live up to what someone thinks of you. So you actually affect your entire world and everyone around you. When people say you create your own reality, it is 100% true.
Yeah.
You create your own reality.
Yeah.
You teach the people around you how to act. You show them what you expect of them. You elicit the reactions that you expect someone to give you. If you walk up to someone and say, they're not going to like me, they're not going to like you. So here's a tip for sales. This is something that Maxwell Maltz actually, so he wrote a book called Psycho-Cybernetics. I'm being beckoned. So Maxwell Maltz wrote a book called Psycho-Cybernetics, and it sold about 30 million copies. And it's all about this topic. I mean, he's the plastic surgeon. And
Right.
He also wrote a book on sales. I just learned this today, and I am so excited to read it and discover it, because what he talks about is that, well, I'm assuming the image that you hold in your mind of the sale and the sales process and the relationship you make with the person and all of it dictates the outcome. So this is something that we talked about. I mean, I don't really know if I was really telling you exactly what was happening, but I just told you what I did, my process.
Right.
And as a new student director, I onboarded new clients. Basically, that's my job. Talk to new people who are interested in dancing, help them get started, and walk them through like how do you learn
her job.
and like what's the learning process. That's why I love talking about that and helping them see who they wanted to become. I helped them imagine who they wanted to become. So that was one part of it. But the other part was, as soon as I saw their name, I wrote down their name and I thought about the person as I was writing down their name. And then I looked at their phone number and I looked at where the area code was. It's like, where's this person from? Who are they? And I was just curious about the human being on the other side of this name and phone number and email address. And I think that started it. But then my expectation was every single person who fills out a form, like a web form, has an intent to do the thing that they filled it out for. So in that sense, it was dancing, right? They were curious. They wanted to learn how to dance. So every single person who filled out the inquiry form wanted to take dance lessons. That's my assumption. That's my operating assumption 100% of the time. Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's just filling out, giving me their name and email address so that they hopefully get spam, which we actually should have been a lot better at sending something out. We never sent anything out. But knowing marketing now, I would have been in contact with them so much more, just like way better systems in place. But regardless, I thought they wanted us to contact them. Now, there's a lot of people out there who would think the opposite. They would think, oh, they don't want me to bother them. And, if I call them one time, then that's too many. Like, that's enough. I believed deep down in my soul that they wanted to do this. And they want it with me, and they want it right now.
Wow. Okay, so
and there's a reason they're reaching out to me in this specific studio.
Right.
Like, there's so many studios, there's so many places in the world that could live and be and do. Why right here, right now? Because that's what they want. That's what they want.
And when you did, so you guys should know this about Kathleen. She walks into the building and probably like 6-7 students in the whole place. When she got done, it was an entire studio. I mean, there were so many people coming through the door. I didn't mean to do this, but I had to ask her to slow down because I couldn't handle it.
It wasn't the first one either.
No, because it was a slam.
Down.
And no one knew how she was doing it. But apparently this was it. You legitimately visualized it and believed it and into existence.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
I knew. And when someone has that belief about you, like imagine being a customer, being a client, being someone who's interested in something. Let's say working out, right? Let's use weight loss as an example. You reach out to a weight loss consultant, or you reach out to a personal trainer, or whatever it is you do. Hopefully like a nutritionist / weight loss consultant would be awesome because they could help you on the nutrition side, and they could probably make a good recommendation as far as a personal trainer. So when we're talking about those things, you reach out to this person. If their belief is that you can't do it, they're not a Jillian Michaels, right? Jillian Michaels believes in you and you can do this, damn it. And I'm going to push you. Like, she believes so hard it hurts. Like, I mean, like, my muscles tense up thinking about how much she believes that you can lose weight. She's serious, though, and she believes. And that's the thing. Like, belief is everything.
That makes so
our
much
belief
sense.
in ourselves, someone else's belief in us.
Yeah.
So if you need to borrow belief. But I've borrowed belief a lot from people.
I've heard Nick and Megan say that before. More than once. Borrow the belief from someone else.
Paul says it. Like, everybody.
It's funny because I don't think I've ever had to borrow belief. I just was taught to believe in myself no matter what. And when I didn't, people helped me because they
You're
believed
rare,
in
and that's
me.
why people say, well, Jonathan, not everyone's like you. That's
Yeah.
what people say about him. So
It's true.
just understand. But that's why, because not everyone is born with that belief in themselves.
Yeah.
Not everyone has been raised to keep that belief in themselves over time.
Yeah.
And for some of us, I had it, and I got it smacked out of me.
That's another thing too.
I had to get it back. I'm only just now getting it back for real. For real.
Important thing to be aware of, because it makes you
It's
aware
everything.
of
You have to
your
guard
own
it.
personal belief.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you have to guard
and
it with
also
everything you
be
have.
aware of how other people are affecting you with their beliefs about you. And I say that because every student that walked in that I taught, I believed that they could reach their goals. I believed that they could dance. I believed in them so much that they felt it, and it helped them get there.
They stepped up. They lifted themselves up.
They did.
They rose to the occasion.
Even
just
when
like
they-
we all do.
even when they didn't believe
we will
themselves.
also fall to the occasion, just like it was proved in the Stanford prison experiment, where people rise to the occasion and they lower to the occasion. If you are treated as a prisoner and people look at you as if you're nothing, you act like you're nothing. It is just that simple. And we'll go into this. This is one of the lessons that I do want to share too, was from The Abundance Factor, the movie The Abundance Factor.
Good one.
Riley Dane. It's incredible.
Watch it.
Yeah, I'll probably hopefully put a link somewhere around here. I don't know. But he brought in someone who talked about this seed experiment, and I don't want to misquote it or share like the wrong information, but essentially there was a packet of seeds that was shown to people across the world. I believe it was in Australia, and across the world. And this packet of seeds, the people in the auditorium were asked to send intention to it for growth. Just send it intention. This picture of a packet of seeds, not an actual packet of seeds, a photograph of some seeds somewhere else in the world at a different time. And they were asked to set intention for this set of seeds. And the woman said, okay, now it's done. Plant the seeds. They did. That set of seeds out of 4 grew faster and more than any of the other seeds. Now, if that doesn't tell you what thought energy does, I don't know what does.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about this in another.
Yeah. We'll go deeper with that
episode
later, because I got a story about that too.
Yeah, exactly. We've got so many examples of this, but if you can just understand what someone else's belief does for your life and what your own belief does. So there's 2 things. One, you can guard it. You can guard it with yourself. It takes a lot, but you have to cancel. So this is one of the things that we will talk about again and again, is do not let that bell go unrung. If someone says something like, who are you to do this? Even if that someone is your internal voice, who are you to do this? Answer it. You have to answer it. That bell cannot be left unrung, because if it does, it wins.
Okay, example. Who are you to do this?
I am Kathleen Seals, and I am fully capable of doing anything that I want to do. In fact, I have credentials and I have knowledge that backs up. I have results. I can do things. Yes, but I have the ability to do this because I've helped people before, and I have it in my heart to do this.
Nice.
You have to answer that voice.
Yes.
If it's the voice of someone who you don't like, or someone you do like, who is just playing the devil's advocate and trying to help you, they're not helping you unless you answer. If you just let them ask the question and be the devil's advocate, they're just being the devil for you. I'm dead serious. It is literally, they're just being the devil for you. You have to answer their question. You have to answer that, even if it's not a question, even if it's like, well, you've never done that before. No, I haven't, but you know what? I know I can. You have to answer it. You have to back it up, because if it's the last voice you hear, it's the last thing your subconscious hears, and it will make it true.
Yes.
Regardless of if you want to believe it or not, your subconscious will make it come to fruition.
And see, that's my secret weapon right there.
Period.
I don't ever take somebody's advice like that.
Oh no, you don't. I see it.
My face is like, wait, I'm off that.
Yeah,
just
instantly
Heisman that real quick.
He does.
I can't even deal with you telling me I can't do something.
Running the touchdown.
Lost your mind. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you do. You're great at that.
Oh, so protect. That's the first. Protect yourself,
So
and
the
then
first, and then the second part is surround yourself with people who believe in you. If that means you have to invest money to get into a mastermind or a group where you know you're learning with people. I mean, even going to college is an investment in people who know you're capable of something. This belief is there.
Yes.
So what we need to do is surround ourselves with people who are like-minded people, who believe that we're capable, who believe that we can do things and will cheer us on, and not be that devil's advocate voice, because it is not helpful. We already have enough of it in here that has been given to us from the world around us, programmed into us from who knows what media. I mean, we'll talk about Soul, right? The movie Soul. I had to turn it off because my 2.5-year-old son was seeing this really negative part. He doesn't know how to discern between reality and fake. And what it was saying was awful. It was like, who are you to do this? And it was just constant. I didn't want him to even hear those words.
Yeah, you guarded him.
At this stage of his life. It's so important that he only learns positive things, because the rest of his life he will learn negative stuff. People will give him those things. He needs to build that shield, build that armor right now that will allow him to be like you have been in your life, and not let people chink it, and not let people like poke and say, oh no,
because I was gifted with that. My family made sure that they kept me.
They built it
in belief.
over time. Over time. 7 years it takes.
They built me up strong.
To learn that and to embody it and to embrace it and to like get the gumption to stand up. I mean, when I do that, my back engages. Like I feel like, like I'm ready to take this on.
So those are 2 things that we can do to protect ourselves and keep ourselves motivated.
Yeah.
And keep our brain from veering off. But like you said before, imagine, legitimately
Imagination.
Sit down
Everything.
and imagine to the point that you can feel it. It's like when I think about being at the beach, I can feel the sun on my skin. I can smell the ocean. I can hear the kids playing, the birds, and I'm there. I transport myself there. Mm-hmm. Imagine.
Yeah.
Powerful, Kathleen. Thank you.
Yep.
I learned a lot today.
Self-image. It is everything.
Yeah. What does Paul Martinelli say all the time?
Hold your image.
Hold your image.
Yeah, and hold it, because
hold it strong.
People are going to try and change that image of you that you hold of yourself. Hold your image, whatever it is you want to become, and it can change, but hold that image so tight in your mind, because everything else will fall into place.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Light up your life.